Good morning. I get to play truck driver today. Phil even left me the new truck. He had to get fuel for the gray Volvo. So we're gonna haul corn with the new Volvo. Checking the oil, looks good. Go around, do a little pre-trip, check the tires and stuff, and roll out of here. All looks good. Let's go trucking. Round one. Well, this load was right out of the field. It was a little wet. 16.98, docked us 8 cents. No big deal there. 56 test weight, 2 FM. Look at that number right there, buddy. 435. That's the price because of our contracts. That's a good 50 cents anyway, better than the current cash price. So, way to go to my marketing department, aka Uncle Phil. All right, well, Phil came back here, so we've got the 2 trucks loaded and the overhead is down. And so we're starting up the dryer. And we're gonna get that bin empty. So there's still wet corn in the wet bin. A couple lights on there. Once we get that empty, we can refill it with dry corn straight out of the field. So that's kind of what we're trying to do this morning. But we don't have anywhere to dry to other than the overhead bin, and obviously there's not that much room up there, so we got to keep hauling it out. All right, well, I was waiting for it to come up to temp, and it says it's ready, so we're gonna go ahead and hit this over to request automatic mode. 15.2. I mean, we're trying into the overhead. I'm gonna set it at 15.5. Okay, now it's in auto, so it just controls itself and it'll go. We better keep moving, because the last thing we need is to get back here and that overhead be full. There'll be corn everywhere. Good news. Good news. There's not corn on the ground. Oh, we made it. I was getting a little nervous, to be honest, because I checked the dryer when I was at the elevator and it was running at 1,800 bushel an hour. And I'm like, oh crap, we better go. It's about a 50-minute trip from here to the elevator and back. So we took 2,000 bushels out, but at 1,800 bushel an hour, if you slow down at all, yeah, you never know. Anyway, let's load up again. You can load trucks pretty quick. Takes about 4 or 5 minutes. Faster if you got 2 people and somebody in the truck to pull ahead, but I gotta climb up and down. Anyway, all good. Put 2 piles in the front, 2 in the back, and we are heavier than we should be. All right, now I know we got plenty of room to drive for a while. Phil should be back in a few minutes. He'll take another load out. By the time we get done with, or get back from this load, the wet bin might be getting close to empty. I don't know how much is in there. The one light's out now, so we might have to do one more after this. Maybe this is the last one. I don't know. Look at that trailer and grain hauling rig. Nice. Well, we're doing pretty good. We still got a light on, so still gonna have to drive for a little while yet. We've got those kind of vindicator things on the bin wall there. First one's tripped, the second one is not. So there's a full load up there, but we're keeping up just fine. We'll go ahead and reload and make another trip since we got to wait on the dryer yet anyway. Oh, we got it reloaded. And our light went out, so the wet bin's almost empty. Not quite there, but will be by the time we get back. I don't know if still have enough corn in the overhead to load up again or not. Doesn't really matter. This is my 4th trip. He's made 3, that's 7. That's a lot of corn today. Doing some rough math based on 80 acres to go. Say 200 bushel the acre average, that's 16,000 bushels. We should be able to put 10 of them in that wet bin once we get it empty. So we still got another 5,000 or 6,000 that we're gonna have to haul in yet. So, whatever. I bet we'll shell this afternoon when we get back here, and we'll get that stuff filled up. Got back from trip 4. Sounds pretty rattly. I think the dryer's about ready to shut down from being out of wet corn. Yep, there it is. Our first trigger's not flipped, so there's probably not a full load up in the overhead, so I get to be done hauling. We'll let this cool down. That's the temperature inside the dryer, 142. We'll let that get down below 100, and then we can kill the fans, and I think it's time for lunch, and we go shell corn this afternoon. What a deal. Filled out the log sheet that Phil keeps in there. Got 117 miles in this morning, 4 trips. All right, Dad is still spraying corn stalks. I was just talking to him, and he said he's got one more load he'd like to do. I'm gonna go get some food, and then I think I'm gonna go shell. Where we're at right now, we can make rounds. They're sort of short rows, so we might just park the cart on the end of the field, and I'll run the combine for a while Dad works on some other stuff, and then later today we can run the cart. We can probably put about 10,000 into that empty wet bin now, and we're going to use the dry corn to fill that up. And then our overhead is not empty, but close to empty, so we can probably put 2,500 bushels up there. And then we have the 2 empty trucks. So that's what? 2 empty trucks, 2,000 there. What are we up to? 14,500. I mean, we're close to being able to get it all out of the field. Probably won't quite make it without hauling another 2 loads in. And then we'll have to get the trucks empty, obviously, and stuff. So we'll see. We won't get 80 acres done today anyway, starting after lunch. That's not a reasonable thing to think we're going to do, but we can get a lot done and know where we're at for in the morning. Well, we came over to the field. I brought a truck over. Grain cart to where we can dump into it easy. Time to shell corn. Get the key. Well, there's nothing real impressive looking about this corn. Now you remember a week or so ago we were shelling corn, and there was a field that part of it had not gotten sprayed with the tassel fungicide or with any fungicide, and the tops were broken out of it. It looked a lot like this. Coincidentally, this field also did not get a fungicide. This is the one that we just generally don't spray because it's a pain in the butt to spray. Now, if I had a drone, it would get done because it would be a whole lot easier with a drone than it is with a ground sprayer. But that's definitely why the plants are not in as good a shape here. We almost certainly gave up some yield because of it as well. It's not great corn so far, but there are spots of it that are pretty good. And it's very dry, 13.4 it says here, so that's why this stuff is going straight back into that wet bin so we can store it as dry corn and not have to worry about drying it. Well, I got the grain cart full, so we'll go empty that and fill the truck. Phil should be over soon with the other truck, and he'll run those. Slows me down a little bit when I have to empty my own grain cart, but it's not a big deal. If we were in a hurry, we'd have Dad in the combine and I would just run the cart. We're not in a hurry. Okay, well, we're making some progress. Corn's getting better. You can see this red spot here. That is a little gravel ridge. We have very, very little of that, but there is a spot on this farm where it is just gravel underneath, and it gets super dry. Even on wet years, it gets super dry. And then you drop right down into that green spot, which is this little muck hole here that's usually wet. Highly variable. This is one of the most variable farms that we have as far as soil types and elevation. Is just really rolling and up and down, and there's wet spots that we farm around, there's gravel ridges, there's muck pockets, there's yellow clay, there's everything on this one. But corn is picking up, like I said, so we are up to a 193 average. We started, it was like 170. End rows are no good, but it's getting better. Time to kill our yield again. We made it up to 193. See what it is when we get done with these end rows. Yep. Brought our average down to, oh, we'll call it 190. There it goes to 190. Lost 3 bushel on the whole field. And I did this one pass along the west side there. what's included in that, but you can see these ends right here, what we just did, and they were terrible. In fact, this round, or since the last time we unloaded, averaged 143. That's not good. It's not good, but that's what trees do. I suppose we should go empty that again. All right, well, we're gonna be on the other side of the woods now, so we're gonna walk a little bit regardless. So I'm gonna just go halfway with the combine. We'll do half our walking now and half of it after we park the cart over around the corner over there. Oh, what are we up to here? 25 acres, we got about 15 done today. I'll probably finish these rows over here in front of the woods, and then we'll have to get Dad over here and start in on this other stuff behind us that probably gonna need a grain cart for. Test weight must be going up on this corn because I got almost 64,000 on this grain cart, which is a lot. That's almost 1,150 bushels on an 1,100 bushel cart, and I did not have it packed clear full. We could have gotten a little more on there. It's heavy corn. Oh, wait. There. There goes Dad now. Spring corn stalks. I was just reading through some of the comments on yesterday's video, and we talked in there about having the bins full, and obviously we did that today too with having to haul corn and stuff out. And every time we have to haul corn in the fall or any grain, I always get comments about building more bins and why don't you build more bins and stuff. And like, I understand where you guys are coming from, but we don't need to be able to store our entire crop. And I'm sure that some people can and do that, but we have never had that attitude that we have to be able to store our entire crop. And the big reason for that, sorry, we're doing curves here, way off. There we go. We curve around an electric pole. But the big reason for not needing to store our entire crop is because we need cash flow in the fall. Most of our expenses are due in the fall here, and so selling grain in the fall helps us have the money to pay for that and not have to borrow operating money. So like our seed bill, a lot of our fertilizer bills, our rent, all those are things that we usually pay in the fall, and having some cash flow to help pay for those things is a good thing. In addition to that, we never know exactly what we're going to have for a crop, right? And so yeah, we've had to move a fair bit of corn, especially here this fall, but if we don't set the record for the best corn crop we've ever had, we're going to be within a couple of bushels of it. Like, we've had really, really good corn across the board this year. Plus, our corn acres were a little higher this year than what we typically are. And so it's okay that we can't store the whole crop. That's not a problem for us. More bin space wouldn't really help us. I mean, yeah, it would have let us finish today instead of tomorrow because we wouldn't have had to stop yesterday, but so what? That's a minor thing, especially considering it's October 28th. We're finishing a month before we would normally expect to finish anyway, so you know, we're okay. We don't really need that extra grain bin space, especially here at Waldron. Now down to Berkey, we'll talk about that when we get down there later this week. We've got some ideas down there, but it's not something that is worth putting a big investment in. Plus, you know, what we could use right now is maybe another 40 or 50,000 bushels of storage in order to be able to store our entire corn crop. I'm not saying we need it, I'm saying that's what it would take. I don't want to give up the ground space to put up a 50,000 bushel bin. If we're going to put up another bin, it's going to be another 120,000 plus bushel bin, because the real estate close to enough to the lake to be able to put bins in is extremely valuable, and I'm not going to waste it on a small bin. And we wouldn't need that capacity anyway, so we would have to pick up a lot of acres in order to justify putting another grain bin up. And we're nowhere close to that. We're not trying to do that. It's not something that we are even looking to do. So, yeah, there would be some minor advantages to having a little bit more grain storage, but the costs of it is not worth the advantages because we need to be able to move the grain in the fall anyway. And so it's not like we are just taking it out of the field or whatever, out of the bins here and taking it to the elevator and selling it for cash price, right? These are all contracts that we've had in place from throughout the year. A lot of this stuff that we're delivering now was sold back in December, January last year for a much higher price than what the cash price is now. It was planned. We intend to do that. We know kind of what we have to, what our expected yields are, what we can store, and so we kind of know what our excess is going to be and how much we probably need to be able to deliver in the fall in order to, one, pay our bills, and two, have enough room to store what we don't sell in the fall. And then there's always the, you know, if we have a bad year or poor yields or something, we can roll these contracts that we have now forward to a future month and maybe pick up some differences in the market. So if the price of corn is higher in March than it is here in the fall or December contract, if say we had 60,000 sold for this fall, we only needed to deliver 50, we could roll that 10,000 to March or even to July or August of next summer, pick up another 10, 20, 30 cents a bushel, whatever it is, and kind of treat it that way. So it doesn't hurt us to oversell for the fall, if you will. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the grain system side of stuff. Well, there's Dad. He pulled into this field. I don't know if he had just a little bit left he was spraying out or what. I'll see if he stops. I'd like to talk to him because, well, it turns out we're about out of DEF, so we might as well bring the fuel trailer over, and then he might as well just jump in the combine, unless, of course, he's going to keep spraying. Doesn't look like he's going to wait for me, though. He's just going. I have to give him a call. So he is spraying corn stalks with 2,4-D, basically, and putting a little bit of nitrogen in on that. And the idea is that, one, the nitrogen is going to help break the stalks down. Plus, we're using up some stuff that won't store over winter very good. We got a little ATS left that the sulfur's not doing much for us, but hopefully it'll still be there in the spring for the corn crop or the bean crop. But the nitrogen will help. It's mixed with some 28, but ATS doesn't store through the cold temperatures very good, so we're just trying to get the tank empty more or less. But the 2,4-D, we've got some chickweed and some winter annuals, some mare's tail, some stuff like that that sometimes comes in the fall on these corn stalks. And so if we can kill them now, it keeps these fields much, much cleaner in the spring. We won't have to deal with the weeds and doing burn down. Basically, it's our first pass of weed control for the 25 soybean crop. And we've had a lot of success doing this in the past years, so he's doing a lot of it this year. It's a pretty cheap application, doesn't cost us a lot, and is very effective. Well, we are just about done with these short rows in front of the woods here. I think we got 2.5 rounds left, something like that. I think I can get it all in the combine, I don't know, but I just went and emptied the cart and left it way back over there by the trucks. So we got a long drive if we do have to come back and empty it. I did talk to Dad. He is cleaning out the sprayer. He wants to spray wheat tomorrow, so he's got to get all the chemicals that he's been using out of the sprayer and get it rinsed really good. So he said when he was done with that, he would come over, bring the fuel trailer over. We've got to open up some more end rows here, and well, these ones along this ditch can be a little dicey sometimes. Let's see how this goes. It's really fluffy muck along this ditch here on both sides, but it's this side here tends to be sort of wet. There's going to be some spots that probably don't have any corn growing in it, but it should be dry right now. Let's see how we do. Yeah, we can feel the combine rocking a little more than normal in this soft ground, but it's all right. We're doing fine. Good corn down in here, though. That's helpful. Yeah, I mean, it's decent corn. It's nothing too special. Are having a little trouble with it doing that and starting to bunch up on the head, this fluffy stuff. And we've got a lot of giant ragweed, although we're through most of it. But this muck grows really good giant ragweed. Something we can do a better job controlling with a spray drone next year. This stuff, that's no good. It's not good. Oh yay! More trees. Ah, gonna be a big fat 0 here. Well, I got my combine seat time fixed for the day or few days here, I guess. Dad's made it down here with the fuel trailer. Phil's here getting the grain cart empty for me with another truck. So that is good. We're about to the point where we're gonna need to run the grain cart anyway. these rows kind of switch directions and go this way, I'd be fine in front of these woods, but once we get past there, we're gonna have to run the grain cart anyway, so we'll put our DEF in, which we are down to 0 bars. Hasn't yelled at me yet and derated or anything like that, but it's probably coming soon. So we'll go over and get that stuff put in, let Dad take over the combine. It's about 4:30 now. Oh, where are we at here? 37 acres done, so we're down to 55-ish to go. If we can get up to 60 done in the field, another 20 acres tonight, 25 acres tonight, I'd be pretty happy. That'll let us finish tomorrow morning relatively easily, and then we get the big move to our Berkey farm. So we're getting there. This is what we've got left. All the way down around here, and that triangle up there around the house, which is that corn over there. Oh, fueling. Got our juicing done. Cleaned my back camera off too. I couldn't see anything when we were backing up. What a deal. It's supposed to be really warm the next 2 days. It's supposed to be like almost 80 degrees. 70, 78 I think I saw the next 2 days. Like, for finishing corn harvest, that's unheard of. Crazy. We'll see. There's a chance, if it's really nice days the next couple of days, we might actually run some double crop beans at Berkey instead of shelling corn down there, because you can only run beans when it's nice out. Corn we can do with whatever conditions. Well, back in the grain cart. I brought a bottle of Windex with me today. We've got a few clean rags. We're gonna wash a few selective windows while we've got a few minutes. I didn't do a very good job on the front one, but the back one and the side are better. I need to do the ones on the cart. We'll get there. I'm not doing it right now. All right, well, we've gotten past the trees there, and there's another lane back behind us that we're gonna park trucks off of now, and at the end's opened up there. This is some of the absolute worst dirt on our farm, and you can just see it in the corn, the thin stand, and it needs tile. It's tight yellow clay. It's this hill right here where these trees are is not good dirt. Oftentimes I get asked why we don't clear all the trees off and farm through all of that stuff if the trees hurt our yield so bad. Well, the trees that are standing because they're crappy dirt or they're too wet. And this one happens to be on the top of a hill, so it's not too wet, but it's just not good dirt. So anyway, it changes quickly. Like I said, this field's highly variable, so you can see we're kind of dropping down into a bottom here, and it's not bad, especially when you can actually get crops planted through it and it's not drowned out. It should have some decent corn in there, but I'm sure that doing end rows and along the trees here, the average has fallen some more since we were in the combine a while ago. Should start picking back up as we keep working south. There is some pretty decent stuff to the south there and off that way, but yeah, that is what it is. So this is that dip I was just talking about. Remember I said when we get crops in it that don't drown out? We got crops through all of it. Kind of. It appears it was a little wet this spring. See the ruts? But there is corn there, albeit not much. Dad jumped over there to cut a new hole through, and you can see a huge color change. That's variety. That is the 111 day that he's in right now. I'm curious if the moisture jumped up. Hey, what'd your moisture do on that pass through that fuller season corn?
Went up to 18 or so.
Ooh, okay. That's a little wet. It'll be fine. 17.4 to 29 yield, he says. Okay, well that's not so bad. I figured that would be a little better. The stuff that we're in now is in the mix. I have no idea what the moisture's running, but the 103 day that we were in earlier was anywhere from 13 to 14 and a half, so it was really dry. Yeah, it's not quite that time, but it's about that time. Turn the lights on. I don't know how late we'll work tonight. We don't really need to push it too late because we're going to finish this tomorrow pretty easily. Let's see, we're up to 58 acres done here. It says 37 to go. There's not actually 37 because my boundary on this field is too big. There's that strip along the road behind or on the outside of the electric poles that we don't farm anymore. but is included in the boundaries. So there's actually probably 5 less acres than that. So we're down to 32-ish. So that's pretty easy to finish in the morning tomorrow. But the more we get done tonight, the less we have to do tomorrow, the quicker we get moved to Berkey. And that's a good thing. Back in that spot where we broke through the middle in the full season corn here, there's one of my wet spots that I had to farm around. But it makes a convenient place to turn the grain cart around in this narrow path here. Because I'm sure it's dry enough we aren't going to get stuck now. I don't know how rough it's going to be out here. But we're going to drive through it. I'll take you along for the ride, just in case, you know, we do bury a tractor in a grain cart. It's empty and on tracks, and that definitely isn't going to happen. But hey, you never know. Yeah. It's been a couple years since we were able to plant through this. It seems like it's gotten wet, or we just had wet springs for whatever reason. I bet that corn's really good where he's combining right now, though, although he's in the overlapping rows. And he lost one. Let's see if he's going to find it. Or we're just going to take 7. There he got it. Sometimes you just cut over and do what you got to do. Wait for our auger. Wait for our auger. There it is. We're inside our box. Hit the auto steer button and let the machine sync take over. Locked on. Oh, he pushed the wrong button. He pushed the wrong button. I've done that before. Well, we're about done for the night. We're going to finish filling the truck. Probably need one more round after this one. My GPS or something's acting up a little bit tonight. We keep losing connectivity between the combine and the tractor, or something about machine leaders, insufficient GPS, something, I don't know. Doesn't matter, we're about done. As long as I'm paying attention and catch it before we start spilling corn, right? Yeah. There is a better antenna, machine communication antenna, something kit that we can put on the combine and the tractor to make them work a little better. I don't know if that's the particular issue tonight, because it said it was an insufficient GPS issue, not a communication latency issue. But that's something I'm going to look at for next year. See right there? Leader GPS accuracy not sufficient. What does that mean? I don't know. What happened there? Don't know that either. Locking the combine up. I'm going to try and run him down. My truck and the fuel trailer is sitting down on the other end of this field, so I would like to fuel up and put DEF in this tractor before we head to Berkey with it tomorrow. I can fuel up at the farm, but our DEF tote is empty. It's all on the trailer, so we might as well just do it here. And I'm going to have him take the truck home. Convenient. All right, we're going to run this back down to the other side where the truck is. And call it a night. So we got about 20 acres left, which in theory is about 4 truckloads. Maybe 5 if we're lucky. We can put... The overhead bin is still empty. Phil said, or I shouldn't say empty, there's a half a load up there. Phil said we can get a half a load in the wet bin yet, but it is about full, so we'll call the overhead empty. So that's 3,000 bushels. Basically, we can put 3 truckloads in there, and we've got the 2 trucks. That's 5. We should be able to finish shelling if we can get the 2 trucks empty in the morning. So we'll haul the 2 trucks in, and then we'll come over and shell, and we should be able to finish it up, and then we can start moving equipment to Berkey. Brock said he would be around noon tomorrow, which might be about perfect for when we're finishing here and ready to go. And he can bring the grain cart, and I will take the combine, and we've already got a bean head down there. And somebody can bring a corn head, and somebody can bring a truck, and we maybe can go start running some beans tomorrow. Some double crop beans. That would be awesome. It's supposed to be really nice. Supposed to be almost 80 degrees. Yeah. We'll see how it goes, but... it'll be good to get down there finally. I am sure that everybody else is done, and the whole neighborhood is like, where in the heck are these guys at? What kind of crappy farmers are they that they don't harvest their crops when everybody else is? I mean, we've been busy. It's not like we're not doing anything. We just haven't been in that neighborhood yet, and I doubt there is much standing of anybody's stuff in the neighborhood. But last year we were down there in September, or well, I guess it was the 1st of October, and we were the first ones done and got the beans done, the wheat planted, and got out of there, and we're done. So it's just the opposite this year. We're finishing there instead of starting there. See my lights? That's awesome. Wet bin's full. Ah, what a good feeling. Everything's full. That's awesome. That's good for us. So, like I said, we got about 20 acres to go. We will deal with that in the morning. I'll haul one of these trucks in tomorrow, and then we're going to get done shelling and hopefully get moved. So, cool. What a deal. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button for me. Harvest is getting towards the end. We are not done yet. We're down to less than 300 acres of corn. Well, about 300 acres of corn, I guess, because we got about 280 down to Berkey. We've got the 20 here, and then we've got about 280 acres of double crop beans to run. So another week or two, and we'll have it knocked out. So that's good. That's really good. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.